Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Noises have always been kind of the bane of a mechanic's existence, because noise is subjective. Diagnosing it, you have to find out what the customer is worried about. A lot of times they're not able to really convey that to you as to what the noise sounds like. We got this late model Tacoma in here. Customer said he has a noise on startup, but that's really all we get. He said it sounded like a rattle. Well, I fired it up and listened, and all I heard was the whistle of the leak detection module vacuuming up. Whistled, and then the valve shut off, and then it stopped. So we have to experiment a little bit. Now, the information we got was that it did it on startup. We were thinking belt squeaking, a bearing in the belt line. We're going to take the belts off of it and isolate or anything like that, because it didn't make that rattling noise when it started it up. Some of them can be pretty easy. I'll see if I can get it to do it. Now it did it for half a second. You probably didn't even hear it. There we go. This time it's doing it a little bit. Before it wouldn't. You'd sit there and idle perfectly. But as soon as I heard it, it only took a half a second. I heard it. That doesn't sound like it's up in front of the motor. It sounds like it's underneath the vehicle. If it's underneath the vehicle, that sounds like it might be exhaust. Here's a trick. Not a trick. Most mechanics already know this. But if you're a customer and you're trying to get a feel of what something is before you go to the mechanic, here's something. Put it in gear. It puts a load on the engine. It brings the idle down a little bit. You can try forward gear, you can try reverse gear. Sometimes that makes a difference. And then while you got your foot on the brake, touch the throttle. Thankfully, that's really obvious. So, let's go underneath of it, and I'll show you what we're looking at. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? Oh. When I heard that noise, I immediately got underneath of it and checked that. That is the catalytic converter heat shield. And right there, you can see there's supposed to be a clamp around it, and it was falling and sitting back here. Now here's this bracket that was dancing around on the pipe back there. It had a welded nut on the back side and a bolt in it with a head. I don't know what it used to be, whether it was Phillips or a Torx head or something, but there was nothing left. So I ground that all flat here, and then I grabbed this end of it, which was sticking out a little bit, and wiggled it back and forth and got it broke loose. It wouldn't have mattered because you had a welded nut right here, so it was a very small, like a 6mm bolt. And I just ground off, got the bolt out, ground this nut off, and I'm just replacing it with a 1/4" bolt. Make sure you have a washer, because what happened was that rusted until the head of the bolt just pulled through this. Panhead nut. And we're going to stick this thing on there where it belongs and see if that takes care of all the rattle. So there we go. Got the clamp back on there just with a bolt screwed up through it. we're gonna go fire it up and see how it sounds. I'm gonna put it in gear and do the same thing I did before. All right, that takes care of it. They don't all have to be really expensive repairs. Occasionally you'll see a busted converter where the brick on the inside of that is rattling around. That's not a cheap one. Fortunately, this one was just the casing. That's just a heat shield to deflect the heat away from the underneath side of the passenger compartment. Keep things from, you know, getting hot under your feet. So like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.